Hello everyone and welcome to the second Heir poll for the Moonstone pack. I did not end up getting to do this in stream, so this is probably going up as a separate video. Hopefully that all works and this is able to go up on Twitch as well as on YouTube, but in any case, we're going to be going ahead and voting for the second finalist for the Heir. So again, the way this is working, we're going to run a series of 3 polls, and then the 3 wolves who win those polls will run against each other in a final poll to choose the actual Heir. So there'll be 5 wolves in each poll, and the winner of each of those 5 will verse off, and the winner of those 3 will become the heir to the Moonstone pack, and that'll be the wolf that we'll be following once Frodo's story concludes, and we'll be picking up with Peregrine's legacy that way. But this is the second poll, and so we're going to be looking at the wolves from the litter 2, with the exception of Kodiak, who is in the first poll. And if you want to catch up on these episodes and kind of get to know these wolves a little bit better, apart from just their looks and stats, you can do that in episodes 8 through 12 of Peregrine's Quest and see their story there. So first up, we have Kestrel. Kestrel looks like this. He is male. He got, I think that may actually be the same coat that Remus has. It's the 926F coat. I think that may be the same one as his dad, but I'm not 100% sure. Again, as is always, they all have black coats. All 15 of the survivors ended up with black coats. We don't know about the other 2. Unfortunately, 2 of the puppies did not make it, and so we didn't get to see what theirs were, but yeah, 15 of 15, so it's pretty wild. And all these guys have the black coat, gray coat combination because, of course, Peregrine didn't have a black coat gene, so none of them could have double black coats. If we look at his eyes, he has these really nice kind of goldeny eyes. Again, we have that very striking light eyes, dark coat. We'll go ahead and we'll listen to his howls here. A little bit of a higher pitched one. And also kind of a higher pitched one there. Now, we won't have any customizations for the ear or the body, except for the possibility of some of them having gotten a radio collar by RNG. But again, if you are a member of my Patreon, keep an eye out for this video as it gets shared there. And if you have an idea for what may have happened to some of these wolves in the time between they were pups to the time when they became adults, maybe they got in a fight, they had a torn ear from that. If you have an idea for a customization and the story behind it, go ahead and share that on that post on the Patreon, and you'll have the chance of seeing that possibly make it into the canon lore for the wolf. If we look at Kestrel's stats here too, he's not a very strong wolf. He has -2 strength, he has +2 stamina, +1 speed, and -1 health, so he's definitely not much of a fighter, but he can run. So that would probably be what his story ends up centering on. And of course, he was the pup with the 6M designation, the 6th male in the Moonstone pack. We can't see the personalities. Again, that's left more up to gameplay, but considering that all the pups are pretty bold, that'll probably show up in his his story as well. So that is Kestrel. That is our first of 5. And next up, we have Fawn. So Fawn is the 5th female of the Moonstone pack, and you can see she has kind of this little bit, kind of almost blotchy brown 830F coat. She has these really striking orangey eyes. Again, she also does have the black coat color, but these very, very kind of almost emberish sort of eyes, which is pretty cool. And so that's her looks. We'll go ahead and we'll listen to her howl here. She got a very deep sort of howl. And then a very high-pitched secondary one, too, so a lot of variation. She definitely has the range. Again, we're not going to do anything here. She didn't get a radio collar, but as for her stats, she has -2 strength, -1 health, +2 stamina, +1 speed, which I think is actually the same as Kestrel. So, again, not a very strong wolf, definitely not much of a fighter, but she can very much run, and she has the endurance to go along with that. I think that's kind of probably a blend of Peregrine and Remus's traits, because Peregrine was a very fast wolf, but I believe she also had, did she have boosted strength? I think she had plus strength, minus health, minus stamina, possibly, if I'm not mistaken. So I think the minus strength maybe is coming from Remus, or no, maybe, I can't remember for sure, but the the speed is definitely something Peregrine had, so those bonuses there are probably coming from their mother. So you can see she is the 5th female, and again, we can't see her personality, but she definitely was quite the wanderer. She and her sisters were some of the ones who were always getting into quite a lot of trouble, and Fawn was very much one of the instigators of that, so she might be a bit of a mischievous wolf. And next up we have Firefly, another one of the female pups from the 2nd litter. She was kind of, I think she was the calmest of the girls in that litter, I think. She was one of the ones who was not quite as fond of getting into trouble, but she still could when she wanted to. She has the Mackenzie coat you can see here, and she's got these really neat kind of orangey golden eyes, kind of an amber color it looks like, and very, very pretty for sure. Let's go ahead, we'll listen to her howl. A little bit of a shakier one. I didn't realize she had a white patch under her throat either. I didn't know that about this coat, but that's pretty cool. Both some kind of whiny howls, a little bit higher in pitch. Again, no customizations here, but you can look for this video on my Patreon if you want the chance to submit some of those for those of you who are patrons or want to become them. She has a little bit more neutral stats, it looks like, so she's got -1 strength, 0 stamina, +2 speed, and -1 health. Actually, that might be Peregrine's exact combination there. Maybe she did have minus strength. Yeah, actually, I think she did have minus strength, but she definitely had plus speed. And I think that may be the exact combination that Peregrine had here. So she took a lot after her mother, it seems, at least in stats. And then again, she was 6F, but we can't see her personality. She was a little bit calmer than her sisters, but all of the Moonstone puppies were pretty bold, and I think both of their parents shared that trait with them. So they're all pretty adventurous. Next up, we have Ivy, and she has the 859M coat. It looks like a bit of a reddish one. I can never remember if it was this one that Remus had or if he had a slightly different one. I don't think his was quite this red, but she did get that pretty reddish look there, and a very pretty coat. A little bit paler eyes that don't stand out quite as brightly, but still quite pretty. A little bit of a kind of maybe a tarnished sort of gold color, I would say. And again, quite pretty. And let's go ahead, we'll listen to her howls. She also got that very deep one, and then for her secondary, I feel like that suits her. It's kind of a little bit of a rough howl, and she was another one of the troublemakers. Again, we're not going to see any of these customizations. She didn't get a radio collar, but she was a little bit one of the more troublemaker pups of the litter. She and Fawn were always getting into trouble and getting into a little bit of chaos together. And she does actually have +2 stamina, -2 health, so her speed and strength are both neutral, but her health is a lot lower, but she can keep up the pace for quite a long time when she wants to. So those are her stats. Again, we can't see her personality, but we know she was quite bold, and she had the 7F designation, being the 7th female pup to be born to the Moonstone Pack. And last but not least, we have Taiga, who is a very big boy. Oh my goodness, I forgot he was this big. He has the 859M coat, which is again that kind of reddish looking one, and some kind of brighter, a little bit brighter gold eyes, kind of mid-toned actually. Not super bright, but they're not super pale either. So he has kind of those goldeny looking eyes too. Very, very pretty for sure. Let's listen to his howl. He also has that really deep one. That seems prevalent in this litter. And then this one. Oh, that one's a lot higher, so he has some pretty good range there too. And if we look at his ears and his body, no customizations there. He didn't get a radio collar. Again, if you are interested in joining my Patreon or you're already a member, you can do that on my Patreon. You can comment on the post where I've shared this video if you have any ideas for what traits these wolves could have and how they could have gotten them, and you might see that used in a canon backstory depending. And so that's something you could do if you are interested in that. But we'll go ahead, we'll take a look at his stats. So he has, I guess we didn't have a runt this litter, did we? Yeah, because his stats are normal as well. So he has +2 strength, -1 stamina, +1 speed, and -2 health. So I think that's maybe actually more of an accurate blend of his parents' traits, because I think Peregrine did have minus strength now that I'm thinking about it. But he got maybe a little bit of extra from his father, and a little bit of that speed boost as well, but not quite as much health and not quite as much stamina. So he'd be able to bite quite hard, and he can run quite fast, but he can't fight for that long, and he can't run that long either. He has the 7M designation, being the 7th male to be born into the Moonstone Pack, or I guess the 6th born into it, the 7th male member of it, because Remus would be 1F, or 1M, and Peregrine would be 1F. But as for his personality, he was also quite the wanderer. He got into quite a bit of trouble with Fawn and Ivy, if I remember. He was always tagging along with them and getting into chaos. So he was a little bit of a mischievous wolf as well. But that is going to conclude the second poll, second poll group. You'll be able to vote in that poll in the video description and on the JayPlays 2 channel. You can find it there if you're watching this on Twitch. Hopefully there's a way for me to put that in the video description for you guys as well. I don't actually know how uploading videos works, so we're gonna find out. But if you're seeing this on Twitch and you want to vote in the poll, go ahead and look in the video description and you'll be able to find a link to that poll there, hopefully. If not, go to JayPlays 2 on YouTube and look for this video, and there should be a link in the description and comments there. Again, this is the second poll out of 3, and then the winner of this, along with the winner of the other 2 polls, will be voted against in a final round of 3 wolves, and the winner of those 3 will go on to become the actual heir. But we are going to go ahead and end off this here for today, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you're watching on Twitch, don't forget to drop a follow so that you can see when I'm actually going live and get in on these stories for yourselves. Yeah, but I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, this is Jay, over and out.